You see that title? Well, don't judge a movie by its title. Relaks is Just Pag-Ibig is written and directed by Antoinette Jadaune and Irene Villamor and stars Inigo Pascual, Sofia Andres, Julian Estrada, Smokey Manaloto, and Erica Villonco. Relax is Just Pag-Ibig is about two 16-year-olds, Josh played by Inigo Pascual and Sari played by Sofia Andres. Josh is this obnoxious, stuck-up, uptight, rich kid who accidentally leaves his phone in the house of an artist, and the artist's daughter, Sari, played by Sofia Andres, picks it up, and the two begin this kind of strange acquaintanceship of sorts. And Sari is completely obsessed with this love letter she found in Leyte, and she wants to go back to Leyte to, find this couple that promised eternal love to each other or whatever. And she manages to rope in Josh to going with her, and along the way, maybe Josh is developing feelings. Now, the first crazy thing about Relax is Just Pag-Ibig is that this is actually co-director Antoinette Jadaune's third movie this year, counting Beauty in a Bottle and That Thing Called Tadhana. She is on a roll, and I've been liking her movies more and more the more I see her. The second crazy thing about this movie is that I saw the title and I was thinking I'm never gonna watch this. This sounds like the worst movie ever. And then I started hearing like acclaim for it. I started reading reviews about it, and I was like, I have to find out what this is about. And it turns out that Relaks Just Pag-Ibig is actually a very well acted and well directed movie with a great soundtrack also. But the movie really has like just such respect for its teenage characters that it's actually able to come up with a genuine relationship in the movie that you can really care about. First of all, I heard the director Antonio Jadanes say that they filmed this movie in Leyte before Yolanda hit. And Leyte really is truly a beautiful place. There's another storm coming like in a couple of days. I think it's already there in Visayas. So like whoever's watching, please pray, or whatever religious system you believe in. Just really hope that people in Visayas are safe, because it really is a gorgeous place, and this movie really also shows that again, Leyte is just a really wonderful place that it really lends itself well to the innocence and purity of the romance in this movie. And overall, I think the production design really is just very nice and clean. The thing with a lot of mainstream romantic comedies nowadays is that they all kind of look the same in that they're very bright and they're very kind of technicolor vivid. And that kind of colorful and bright cinematography actually kind of works for this movie this time around for the same reasons as why the production design works. And like I mentioned, this movie has a great soundtrack also, again, because it kind of supports that idea of young love or whatever. There's this song by Sean Fournier, if I'm pronouncing his name right, called Put the World on Stop, that was just humming the entire time after watching the movie. And they featured the song Buko by Jaira Lim, which you can only hear so many times before getting bored by it, but this movie actually kind of made me like it again. Pacing in this movie is also very constantly steady. It keeps both the plot and the characters moving towards something, and it really does keep deepening the relationship between Josh and Sari. What I like is that this movie is edited in such a way that both Josh and Sari become like the protagonists of the story. At first, you might think it's only from Josh's point of view or only from Sari's point of view, but the fact we really get they both kind of get equal screen time means that we're kind of kept in suspense about like if they're actually gonna end up together or whatever. Now, in terms of plot, the movie is very formulaic. It's very simple. It's very paint by numbers, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've said before that I don't really care about cliches as long as you execute the cliches well. But this simple plot really is elevated by some really memorable characters who are all realistically trying to deal with the realities of youth. I mean, Josh is trying to kind of find his place in the world. He realizes slowly that he's not fit for this kind of rich kid society. I mean, not all rich kids are like this, but you know what I mean. Sari, on the other hand, is trying to hold on hope for this image of true love that she believes she exists. And then Julian Estrada's character, Kiko, is has a kind of sense of entitlement that he's been friends with Sari since he was like 4 years old or something, so he really kind of deserves her affection. And just like in Antoinette Jadaune's That Thing Called Tadhana, this movie has really realistic dialogue, I think, that really plays around with the shifting emotions of teenagers, and also plays around with the fact that Josh is a real Inglesero, and it makes for some comedic moments. The acting from the young cast is actually really, really impressive, at least for people who are as young as they are. Inigo Pascual really plays the snobby rich kid like really, really well, but he's still able to convey like real emotion, so you do care about him by the end. Sophia Andres I thought was great as Sari. She plays Sari somewhere between manic pixie dream girl and wide-eyed innocent person, and she really ends up being so extremely likable. Like you're just with her from the moment you see her, and again, you really, really do care about her. Julian Estrada, who plays Kiko, he doesn't have that much screen time to really kind of define his character as well as he deserves to. But there's this authority about him when he comes on screen. He really kind of challenges Josh, and he's not like a gigantic guy or anything, but just through his attitude, he's able to convey that authority. Smokey Manaloto, who's not a young actor, but he's great in this movie. He's really hilarious. He's so lovable. Also, he plays the driver of Josh, and he's just like completely head over heels in love with this other woman, and he's great. The directors Antoinette Jadaune and Irene Villamor, for me at least, they could be the next like Kathy Garcia Molina in the sense that they can take like the most cliched material ever and really make it resonate with like real human emotion. And the trick to making these kinds of killing movies work is to really lay a solid groundwork, solid foundation for characters and plot and whatever and motivations, and they really were able to do it in this movie. Overall, there's really just this underlying feeling of joy and discovery throughout the movie that really shows that the directors understand and respect this idea of young love. They never talk down to the audience. They never show their characters as young or stupid or foolish. Like they really are just discovering life. There are a few things though that I didn't really like about Relaks, Just Pag-Ibig. For one, there's some scenes that are obviously there to kind of flesh out this idea of love, like Josh and Sari are kind of seeing different perspectives on love, and I feel like these scenes could have been fleshed out a bit more because it kind of feels like they were throwaways at certain points. Also, it's kind of hard to believe like the beginning parts of the movie that they would kind of forge this acquaintanceship so quickly, and that Josh would kind of just travel to Leyte with Sari without any reservations or whatever. And also the character of Cupcake, played by Erica Villonco, who is the girlfriend of Josh. She's just completely, cliched, mean girl. I guess it would have been nice if they made this character realistic also. It would have made everything more complex. It would have been kind of harder for us to just straight up dislike her, so I kind of wish they did her character differently. But overall, Relaks, Just Pag-Ibig is actually a pretty good movie, surprisingly. I had a really big smile on my face when I left the theater. And I knew I enjoyed it because for a lot of mainstream movies, they have like bloopers in the credits, and I never stayed to watch the bloopers, but because I liked the character so much and it just left me in such a good mood, I actually stayed to watch the entire end credits. So yeah, and seriously, watch out for Antoinette Jadaune. She already impressed people with her first movie back in I think 2010 or something, 6 Degrees of Separation with Lilia Contapay, and now she's really just making waves. So I hope she sticks around. Alright, so that's my review for Relaks, It's Just Pag-Ibig. What do you guys think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.